3 countries just put out a statement about Israel that is, to say the least, extremely concerning and, quite frankly, is calling for the death of the state of Israel. Let's get into it. I'm Justin Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. A disturbing story just came out. The leaders of the United Kingdom, France, and Canada put out a joint statement on Monday condemning Israel's handling of the humanitarian situation in Gaza and calling on them to immediately halt military action in the Strip and allow in more aid, threatening, quote, further concrete actions in response if they refuse. 22 other countries signed a separate statement urging full resumption of aid, but this specific statement was from the UK, France, and Canada. So Israel just let in 5 aid trucks into Gaza yesterday, and this is the first aid that they've allowed into the Strip since March 1st, but that wasn't enough for the international community. We're not going to go through the whole statement, but I'll link in the description below if you want to read through the entire thing. But this statement started out with this. Quote, "We strongly oppose the expansion of Israel's military operations in Gaza. The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable. Yesterday's announcement that Israel will allow a basic quantity of food into Gaza is wholly inadequate. We call on the Israeli government to stop its military operations in Gaza and immediately allow humanitarian aid to enter Gaza." And it went on to say, quote, "We call on Hamas to release immediately the remaining hostages they have so cruelly held since 7th October 2023. And that's great that they mentioned the hostages in the statement. However, do you think a terrorist organization is going to listen to international appeals? Like, just think about that for a second. Maybe if you just ask nicely, Hamas will release the hostages. No, this is an actual terrorist organization that we're talking about here. And the whole reason that Israel is expanding its military operations that you're now condemning is to crush that evil and to bring back the hostages. The statement gets much worse and much, much more disturbing. It went on to say, "We will not stand by while the Netanyahu government pursues these egregious actions. If Israel does not cease the renewed military offensive and lift its restrictions on humanitarian aid, we will take further concrete actions in response." Now, when they say concrete actions, do they mean sanctions or something like that? Or do they mean actual military action like it's prophesied in Zechariah 14, where all nations will come and fight against Jerusalem? The statement went on, quote, "We oppose any attempt to expand settlements in the West Bank. Israel must halt settlements which are illegal and undermine the viability of a Palestinian state and the security of both Israelis and Palestinians. We will not hesitate to take further action, including targeted sanctions." Now, before October 7th, there might have been some excuse in calling for a Palestinian state. But let me set this straight. Anyone calling for a Palestinian state after October 7th is a straight-up Jew-hating anti-Semite. And that's just the way it is. Guys, if we give the Palestinians a state in Judea and Samaria, they would have the chance to carry out multiple October 7ths, except much, much worse because they have a direct line of fire straight into Israel's population centers on the coast. And speaking of terrorism, Magen David Adom is Israel's emergency services system, which means that they're the first ones on the scene at every terror attack, every rocket attack, every car accident, heart attack, whether it's terror-related or not. They dispatch every ambulance in the nation and they receive thousands of emergency calls every single day. And the incredible thing is 90% of their 37,500 EMTs, paramedics, and first responders are volunteers. They are the ones who are on the front lines of this 7-front war that Israel is still facing. Since October 7th, they have saved thousands of lives and they continue to do so every single day. But they need help to do this effectively. With Israel's resources strained to the breaking point with the continued war, Magen David Adom needs more emergency vehicles, more bandages, medical supplies, and so much more to respond to every terror attack and also every other daily emergency that's happening here in Israel. You know, people ask us what they can do to bless Israel during this war. Well, this is one of the best ways that you can do that. You can be a part of making sure Magen David Adom is equipped with everything that they need to save more lives here in Israel. Just go to savelivesinisrael.com to make a real difference today, or click the link in the description below. The statement went on and praised the efforts of the United States and Qatar to achieve a ceasefire, which they said is the only way of, quote, alleviating the suffering of civilians in Gaza, ending Hamas's control of Gaza, and achieving a pathway to a two-state solution consistent with the goals of the June conference in New York, co-chaired by Saudi Arabia and France. These negotiations need to succeed, and we must all work towards the implementation of a two-state solution, which is the only way to bring long-lasting peace and security that both Israelis and Palestinians deserve and ensure long-term stability in the region. And this conference that the statement mentioned is a United Nations conference happening in June in New York. It will be co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia. And the main focus of this summit is the recognition of a Palestinian state. And this just happens to be around the same time that our second annual Israel Summit is happening in Dallas, Texas, June 9th through 11th. You should definitely get tickets to the Israel Summit if you want to stand directly against that idea of a creation of a Palestinian state. We'll put a link in the description if you want to sign up for the Israel Summit. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu put out a statement on Monday condemning this whole statement by France, Canada, and the UK. He said this: by asking Israel to end a defensive war for our survival before Hamas terrorists on our borders are destroyed, and by demanding a Palestinian state, the leaders in London, Ottawa, and Paris are offering a huge prize for the genocidal attack on Israel on October 7th while inviting more such atrocities. He went on to say, the war can end tomorrow if the remaining hostages are released, Hamas lays down its arms, its murderous leaders are exiled, and Gaza is demilitarized. No nation can be expected to accept anything less, and Israel certainly won't. And this is absolutely correct. No other nation in the world would tolerate what Israel has gone through. And yes, they have absolutely every right to go in and to take out this evil and actually do the world a favor by crushing this evil before it moves to the West. Guys, I know we say it all the time here on the show, but let's continue to pray for the nation of Israel. I believe right now a very clear line is being drawn in the sand between good and just straight up evil. Let's continue to support the good and be on the right side of history. There is hope. Thousands of people just marched through New York City on Sunday in an Israel parade. JNS said this: the dozens of ambassadors to the United Nations who marched among released hostages and their families, injured soldiers, and other supporters of the Jewish state sent a clear message, according to Danny Danon, the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, that the people of Israel are not alone. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out Magen David Adom. Go to savelivesinisrael.com to make a real difference, or you can click the link in the description below. Make sure and subscribe. Also, get the conversation going down in the comments. Love to interact with you there. If you'd like to support our work here at the Israel Guys, keep all of this going, the show going, you can head over to theisraelguys.com/donate. As always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening in Israel. We'll be back soon here at the Israel Guys. Catch you in the next one.